Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Nicholas again, and today we're going to do another workout. We're back on my series of the Reboot Base series. So today is 6 jogging 3 minutes followed by recovery walk we're jogging for 2 minutes followed by a recovery walk of 3 minutes. And right now we're on an introductory 5-minute warm-up. So we're here because running is fun and it takes a little bit of intentionality and care to be able to do it at my size. So thanks for coming along, and here's another day's worth of joyful movement. So today I want to talk a little bit about self-forgiveness. You see, it's been a little while since I've been out and getting my 4 weekly runs in. In fact, the last couple of weeks, last 3 weeks, have been a real struggle. But that's okay. And I'd rather have been running, but these sorts of things happen. And one of the keys, one of the things that we know is that if we want to get from where we are to our goals, one of the absolute keys for getting there is self-forgiveness. It's actually a lot more effective than what people call tough love, and that's usually just an excuse to act like a smug jerk. But I'm back out here today, I'm moving along, and it's a good day. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later. So that's 2 intervals down, just 4 left to go. And let me tell you, friends, I can feel the layoff. But it's all right. I'm going to deal with it by backing off. Just when I do my jogs, I'm going to shuffle along just fast enough to be moving. That'll get things started. And while today may not be a fantastic, amazing run for the ages, it's getting me back on track, back moving again. And lest I forget the reason that I'm out here because if I play my cards right, running feels really good. And it can be hard to get that good, pleasurable experience of running, because a lot of the things we can do, I can do, you can do, if we get in a hurry, or we get greedy, or we try to reach for too much too soon, or we listen to the tough love people and we start believing that anything good has to hurt or the exercise is a punishment, then, well, we push ourselves into places where running doesn't feel great. And this time around, I'm here for the joy of it. And to be able to be out here and run and to experience that joy, got to take it easy. So that's what we're doing today. We'll talk to you after a couple more intervals. All right, I'm back. That was the 3rd set of intervals. Things are starting to loose up a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. But I want to touch back on something I was talking about earlier. Self-forgiveness. And I'm pulling some of this from a book by Dr. Kelly McGonigal called The Willpower Instinct. I'm not going to go too deep into the supporting data, but basically her assertion was that when looking at effective steps that you can take to change a habit or to change a behavior, that self-forgiveness, having us accept that things didn't go the way that we wanted them to, that's okay, and to move back into whatever's the appropriate next step to get towards our goals, that's more effective than beating ourselves up. That's more effective than being unkind. And I think that's a good motivation. There's a couple of other things that also help us see that self-compassion is really going to be a good tool for us. Second one is that there is enough tough love. There's enough lack of compassion. There's enough just people being flat out mean and biased against fat people that we don't need any more of that nonsense. We don't need to give it to ourselves. So I like running. I want to go out and run more. So I'm going to go running. And if that means today that I have to start over on a level that I was a couple of levels ahead of, hell, so I'm starting over. It's all good. Being angry or upset with myself is not actually going to make anything better. So I'm not going to bother with it. I'll talk to you after another round. All right, that's 4 down. Feeling a little better at this point. Certainly not pushing it very hard. On another day, I'd have a harder time starting talking again after finishing one of the intervals. But that's probably about the right pace for today. We're talking about self-forgiveness. And there's a third reason besides that it's more practical and effective. And besides that there's enough negative energy in the world out there directed towards fat people or directed towards fat people who are trying to run. And that's that self-forgiveness or self-compassion, it feels good. And we need more of that as well. If it's more effective, we might as well use the technique that also feels a little bit better. There's a lot of energy, a lot of attention, a lot of focus out there in the world that's pointed towards making people feel bad about themselves and making people feel bad about their bodies. And a good response to that is to load up on other kinds. Self-compassion and self-forgiveness, it's truthful. You know, it is okay that I got off of my routine. It's okay when you get off of your routine. The reason I'm out here, the reason that I'm running is that running feels good. And running is going to get me to a place where there's more things in my life that feels good and that I enjoy. And so I'm out here, not because I should, not because it's some sort of grim reality that I have to accept, but because it's good, because I want my body to feel good, and running helps that. Running correctly. There's an awful lot of ways that I could come out not paying attention to what's going on, not listening to my body, that would just end up in pain and tears and frustration. So this is what I'm doing. Starting over, starting at a level that I can accommodate right now, focusing on being consistent. You know, the goal that I'm tracing is the number of days out the door. Nothing else. There's no other goal that I can make myself feel bad about not making. Just get out here and do this thing that I enjoy. Hopefully you enjoy it too, and we can find ways to do more of it together. All right, I've got a couple more intervals, and here's one starting now. All right, that's 5 out of 6 down. I'm certainly feeling better now than I was after the first couple. So I'm going to say this is a good day. I'm feeling good. I've gone easy enough that my trouble spots, my knees aren't hurting me. My knees feeling great. My calves are good. Neither Achilles feels tight. So far everything's good. Now I'm just going to need a whole bunch of consistency for a month or two to get back to where I want to be, but if I play my cards right, and that's one of the big points about all of this, those couple of weeks can be enjoyable, they can be pleasurable, that it's not impossible for fat people to enjoy running, and it's not impossible for even the first few workouts to be pain-free and pleasant. The trick is to stay under the limits. For me, I'm older than I used to be when I would run, and I'm bigger than I used to be when I run a lot, so the key is going to be patient and consistent. So getting out a lot, but not going so hard that I'm pushing the envelope and getting myself into a space where I'm going to get injured. And I think if we all do that, running can be a lot of fun. So our movement can be joyous, and fat people can enjoy running. At least this fat person is. So one more and then I'm done for the day. I will talk to you all later. And okay, that's the 6th set. I still feel pretty good. I'm gonna make sure that I warm down well, which is I don't go right inside after I'm finished exercising. I give my muscles a chance to cool down. I like to do some stretching here. I guess call it a pleasant habit. People are torn on whether stretching is effective, but I learned how to do it when I was younger, and I find that I feel better after it, so I'm going to keep doing it. But for all of you guys, thanks for joining in, and I'll see you on another run.